Series practice and qualifying from the Charlotte Motor Speedway for tomorrow's running of the 2024 Coca-Cola 600. Appreciate everybody tuning in here for our second live commentary stream of the day. The NASCAR Xfinity Series race just wrapped up moments ago, earlier this afternoon. About an hour or so ago, we ended that stream. And now here for this one today, we get to see who will be starting out in front in the longest race of the NASCAR season for tomorrow. Typical practice session is just beginning right now, where we will see the field split in half. 19 cars in Group A, 19 will be in Group B. You got a couple of non-chartered teams that are running this race here this weekend. On top of that, though, we obviously have two 20-minute practice sessions, one for each group, so each driver will have an optimal amount of time of 20 minutes to run their practice session. And Joey Logano, one of the first cars on track right now, so we'll just tune it right into the Fox booth.
Fresh off. In that mid column, in 3, 8 starts, top 10s, 1 win, 2023 in the Coca-Cola 600.
See him getting loose right there in the middle of 1 and 2. I think as this practice session goes, you'll see a lot of these guys move up to the middle lane of the racetrack. Right now, I think you can get away with the bottom of the racetrack at turns 3 and 4. I think this middle lane for 1 and 2 will be preferred until the tires really start to go off with these cars. But through 3 and 4, you want to have a nice square entry and wrap that left front to the white line or the seam, whatever your choice is.
Now, he is on track, and they have had a difficult day in NASCAR's inspection lane. Let's check with our crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, Mike, this could take a whole segment to read through the test. They passed inspection this morning the first time, but NASCAR noticed they maybe had done something to the front splitter. They made a fix. They went through a second time, and they failed to get past the third time. But because they made an adjustment to that front splitter during or after inspection, their car chief was ejected. They will lose pit selection. To drop the green flag tomorrow, they have to drop to the rear and have to do a passing penalty. But NASCAR is going to make them go out and make a qualifying run. That way, one of their sets of tires for tomorrow will be scuffed just like everybody else. They wouldn't have 13 sets of stickers. They'll have 12 stickers and the qualifying scuff.
Thanks, Larry.
A lot of guys feeling this racetrack out, Kevin. I've seen them in kind of 1 and 2, the middle, the bottom. Not really off high as they were in the Xfinity, but even in 3 and 4, already starting to move this racetrack up. Yeah, you know it's clean up there, so I would say as they run through practice and get towards the end of this session, they'll definitely fill it out.
The big story of all of last weekend and this is Kyle Larson and what he is attempting to do. Become the 6th man to run the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 in 1 day, and to be the 2nd to run all 1,100 miles in 1 day. Here's Regan Switch.
I think that's right. It's been a busy week for Kyle Larson, back and forth from Indy to Charlotte. Back here in Charlotte right now as you get ready to practice your Coke 600 car. What are your expectations out of this practice? What are you going to be looking for to make it good for tomorrow night?
I think just hopefully a good balance and good ride quality. It's watching City race, it's kind of shot me to number. So yeah, just try to get a feel for it here, and yeah, I'm confident our car will be fast. Just got to see what I can learn here today. Conditions are always a little bit different on Saturday than Sunday. Yeah, I think the race starts maybe around now, but it goes into night. So just try to learn and adapt, and then just get a feel for it.
All right, good luck. Thanks, Kyle.
William Byron spun coming off turn number 4. Here's a look at it.
It's out from underneath of him right there, Kevin. Just lost it. Yeah, and when you go through the middle of the corner right there, there's these big choppy bumps from the seams and cracks in the racetrack, and it's you know, as you want to carry as much speed as you can, but a lot of times you're partial throttle, but it really unloads and you have to start turning the car back the other way to try to get that rear loaded up.
The track is under caution for Byron's spin with no contact.
That is no contact with the wall or another driver there for William Byron, so good to see. He is in the top of the speed charts in practice despite that spin. So William Byron, luckily with not hitting anything, can still make a qualifying lap. Doesn't have to go to a backup car, but I'm sure some major adjustments will be had to that 24 car from when they were just on the racetrack. Loose is fast if he can hang on to it. He was able to hold on to it to put a fast time up, but not long enough to hold on, obviously, as we got into this run. He ran just 7 laps. The last lap was him spinning and coming to pit road. So really only ran 6 complete laps. Practice session is under a red flag right now until the caution is lifted, of course. Again, William Byron spinning our first incident of practice. We saw quite a few spins in practice and qualifying for the truck in the Xfinity series this weekend too, so not surprised by the way things are looking here for Cup practice so far with having the early spins as well. And Bowers, thanks for tuning in. You're the first one in the chat down below. But I appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Again, this is the second live commentary stream of the day. We just watched a pretty thrilling NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Congratulations to Chase Elliott for getting that win a little over an hour ago from where we're at right now. Elliott is in Group B practice, so he is not in this first group, but he obviously is running the Xfinity and now the Cup Series cars this weekend. A very unique circumstance, though, this weekend where you have the Xfinity and the truck races already complete before the Cup cars even hit the track for the weekend. And this Cup practice and qualifying taking place after the Xfinity race, so there's a lot of rubber laid down on the racetrack. By way of just normal track conditions outside of the rubber laid on the racetrack, fairly similar to what we will see tomorrow. In fact, the track and air temp will probably be a little bit warmer tomorrow than what it is today. 83-degree air temp at Charlotte Motor Speedway currently. Track temp 128 degrees. Tomorrow, temperatures upwards of about 90 degrees for the start of the 600 in Charlotte. But again, William Byron currently at the top of the speed charts. We're back under green flag conditions. Tyler Reddick is in second. Bubba Wallace third. Carson Hocevar fourth. Ross Chastain fifth. Daniel Suarez sixth. Christopher Bell 7th, Eric Jones 8th, Ryan Blaney 9th, Justin Haley 10th, Harrison Burton in 11th, 12th is Brad Keselowski, John Hunter Nemechek 13th, Chase Briscoe 14th, Joey Logano 15th, Michael McDowell 16th, 17th is Daniel Hemrick, Shane Van Gisbergen in 18th rather. Ty Dillon is 19th of the 19 cars that have hit the track for practice. Again, 19 in Group A, 19 in Group B. I believe Jimmy Johnson and Ty Dillon are the 2 non-chartered entry cars for this weekend. Dillon in the 50 for the money team, and Jimmy Johnson, of course, in the 84 once again for Legacy Motor Club. I believe it'll be Johnson's 4th start of the season. Still waiting for them to come back from commercial break, but we have been back under green flag conditions here recently.
Tomorrow night in America on tonight, the Dodgers against rising superstar Reds and the Reds. You'll see one of baseball's greatest rivalries. It also begins at 7 Eastern on Fox. Check for the game in your area. Chastain ran only 4 laps. Everybody else did 6 or 7 at the start of this session. And back to the pits, and now he is back out. Here's some radio from the one.
You got to run those limiters that we talked about on the shocks as close as possible, because you want the car to absorb as much of the bumps as possible, and you want the back as low as possible. But when it touches those limiters in certain spots around here, you know, it's tough for the car to come out. That could be what happened to William Byron as those bumps in the middle of 3 and 4 just kind of got the back out from underneath him. The bumps that Ross is talking about, you can probably just the bump off it presses these cars really hard. It's almost up on the straightaway. So cars got to ride the bumps. You got bumps on the entry to turn 3, entry to turn 1, all the way through the middle of 3 and 4. So you definitely have to have a good ride quality here.
Well, the Xfinity race preceded this, and Jar Sims is with its winner.
That's right, so already we go way here today in this track. Is there anything you could pull if you get set to go off in practice here and it's helped so far? Unfortunately, not much. These cars are just so different. I'm just trying to take a couple minutes to rewind and then start thinking about this car more and what it likes. So it's already pulled off a lot, I feel like, and which is good because that's kind of how we're going to be racing tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing what our Napa Chevy has and get ready for 600 miles. She's Elliott gets set for his 300 start.
6 drivers are doing double duty in both races. What he alluded to right there, Kevin, that's the name of the game. You're going to start this race in the heat of the day, that sun goes down, and boy, grip level goes through the roof. And that's usually when somebody shows up.
And that's the hard part about getting your car to where it needs to be, because it has to drive good in this race when the racetrack is greasy and slimy and you're searching for grip, and then when it starts to get dark, then the speed picks up, and then those limiters start to get closer and closer to the things that you don't want to happen. Larry?
Yeah, I talked to a lot of crew chiefs this week, like Jonathan Hassler with Ryan Blaney, Chris Gapehart with Denny Hamlin. And it's not unusual to have this little short practice session on Saturday. But normally it's 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. They're pretty excited that the fact that this practice not only is going to happen, to your point, about the time this race is going to start, but it's only about an hour since that 300-mile Xfinity Series race ended, and the track is nice and rubbered in. They were kind of liking the fact that they're going to be able to tune to these conditions.
So right along with Blaney right there, that was plenty neutral to get through 1 and 2.
Well, it's like I tell people all the time that the car is never going to be comfortable here. When you come to Charlotte Motor Speedway, the car is never comfortable. I don't know if you were ever comfortable, Clint, but
no.
In these conditions, when the sun is out, it's been raced on, the rubber's all over the racetrack. It's just hard to get a hold of the racetrack, and it's a lot of finesse, a lot of just making the car go as fast as it'll go, but it's through the middle of the corner, but it has to be comfortable on the entry to the corner. You can manage the exit, and it has to go fast through the center. But if you cannot get in the corner here over the bumps, you're in big trouble.
It's a lot of character. It is bumpy out there. There's no question about it. It's a bumpy racetrack, but you are flying. You are flat, all in the mail at this racetrack, and you put those two together, it's a sketchy feeling.
But you do have options here, and as we look at Christopher Bell slowing down to come to the pit road to do all the little things that maybe he wants to work on his car. He probably got 9 minutes, so he probably wants to work on his car. But as we watch John Hunter here in the 42 car, you got options as you go into turn 3. But right about there here at the end of the straightaway, you see the car start to bounce. There's those bumps, but you have to have a square entry. You want to stay above that first seam if you're going to run the middle lane and not go and split those seams like we talk at a lot of places. Because if you do, it kind of unloads that car. Those seams kind of have a rise in the middle of 3 and 4. And the same way with the bumps, which is what makes them worse. Down here through 1 and 2, the preferred lane is going to be through the middle until the tires really start to get worn out and the lap time falls off. Especially during the day, they'll start moving up the racetrack to keep that momentum up to the middle of the corner.
Well, that's what makes this track challenging, too, though. You do have options, but that option's probably not the option you want to take. That means shooting down there on the bottom. Go ahead, kid.
Yeah.
Go down there and try it. You get loose down there, get the old hospital hop, getting into 1, even into 3 over those bumps that you were talking about. It is a challenging place to make a pass at this racetrack.
And we just saw Brad run the bottom through turns 3 and 4. And through the middle, through 1 and 2 right here. But through 3 and 4, I think you can get away. If your car is going good because it slows so much down through the middle, if you can get that car to work on the bottom and be comfortable, keep that speed up through the middle of the corner, you can get away with it on this end. But you want that left front tire in 3 and 4 right there, right on the paint, because the seam to the racetrack is actually almost at the top of that paint. So that paint gets rubbered up. And that left front tire will actually gain grip, and you can keep that center speed up.
It's like you lock onto a train track.
It really does.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. There's probably not a track on the circuit that has more character or takes longer to describe how to drive than Charlotte Motor Speedway. David Pearson once won 11 poles in a row here. During that streak, President Huffy Wheeler had one end of the speedway, had the whole lower groove and a half free paved. Pearson goes out, wins the pole again. And back then, it was a 4-lap average for the pole, much like Indianapolis. And in victory lane, as he accepted his award, he tapped Duffy on the shoulder and said, "You paved the wrong end." Sounds like something.
Well, you know what? He's right. Turns 3 and 4 are just difficult here. The tunnel in the backstretch is right about 3/4 of the way down the straightaway, but there are bumps going in, swells. They used to be swells. I would call them bumps now. And you have to square the entry of that corner off in order to get the angle of the car right. And you'll see Chase Briscoe right here. You have to square this entry off. So you want to be up, and that's a middle lane, but you want to do the same thing when you're in the middle lane too. You have to square that entry off to get over those bumps the correct way and try to get over the bumps straight so that you can get the car angled through the middle of the corner so that it doesn't get tight and snap loose at the 3/4 mark.
And that's the setup in these race cars. I mean, over the years, you'd have one that would handle those bumps well, and the next time you come around and it's too harsh, those bumps just get those tires bouncing on the rear of that thing, and it makes for a long night. 600 miles around here chasing that thing, getting into free every lap.
And we've seen this car of William Byron spin out already. So we talk about those bumps being, maybe he just lost it, but we talked that maybe he could be hitting those limiters in the back because you want the car as low as possible because that's where that diffuser is going to make the most grip. And you want all the grip you can get here. And now you see William back in the bottom lane. He spun out in the middle lane.
He's still loose. He's going to come back in. Boys, not enough yet. Fix me up.
And he's timid now. He did spin out, so maybe he was just practicing pit road entry because those tires.
Did you see the tail on that dog wagon?
I'm just saying, maybe he was making a pit road entry is why he didn't keep going. But he was still loose even trying to do that.
There's the plan. Practice pit road entry right there. We're going to look at Michael McDowell.
See Walmart.
I see Penny Blue.
Yeah,
that's all I can see. The numbers were reversed, but the 3 and a 4 on a race car in that blue.
I like when I see new sponsors on the cars.
Yes, sir.
And Walmart is definitely not something that we have seen on a car.
That's one that everybody in this whole industry's been after for a long time.
Yeah.
Walmart showing up on racing means this sport's headed in the right direction. We've seen it. The infield of this place. I pulled in the bus, and I could not believe it, man. This place is absolutely this weekend. Beautiful weather.
Awesome to see.
Daniel Hemrick, one day here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, I think it was Tuesday night. He won $250,000 from $1 million purse driving a U.S. Legends car. Burton Smith promoted it as the Legends Million. That was the total purse. He won it, took home the lion's share, bought himself a couple of rides in NASCAR series, and well, the rest is history. Here he is. That's pretty big. Win $250,000 in a Legends car. I mean, you take a Cup car and go win that. Why do you not spend that to win it, right? Legends car, you're taking home a pot of gold.
It's like more than a winner's purse in a truck race. I don't know if that's factual or not, but
yeah, well, and I think that probably started since he was turning in, and as it went through that first third of the corner, it just was unloaded because it didn't get around those bumps correctly. Or through the bumps correctly.
The wild thing is this very car that we're riding with, Ryan Blaney right here. All right, look over here. We'll see who's the best consecutive 10-lap average. That would be Ryan Blaney. The best consecutive 15-lap average. That would also be Ryan Blaney. Next time by, we'll much rush it. I'll tell you what, he looked good up there. I'm in that green suit. See that today? I don't know who dressed him in a wool suit for a 90-degree day, but
maybe he knew how well the air conditioning worked too.
Noted. Everyone in Group A has practiced with the exception of J.J. Yaley. That's 19 out of 20 cars. We have the first full field for a NASCAR race in a long time since we have had all of the 40 available starting spots filled, 36 charter cars and 4 open cars, including Ty Dillon. Burton to work up the speed chart. But others.
sessions where I wanted to run the whole session, and I say that a lot every week. I always want to run every session as long as I can. But this is really, really a rhythm racetrack with all the different lanes. You have different lip points. You have, you can drive in harder. You can drive in less. You can use a little bit of brake. You have so many options as a driver to make your car do something different. And I think that's what's really made this race so good the last several years.
You're not the only one that wants that race car on the racetrack the whole session, right, Larry? That crew chief wants to see them tire sheets. Them engineers, they want to go back through and see how this thing was handled. Cambers, tire tips.
Yeah, what I was doing when you threw to me, Clint, I've been reading the radio transmission between William Byron and Rudy Fugle. Of course, he's fastest in this practice session. And they finally convinced themselves they've got a fast race car. They're going to worry about qualifying, and then they'll make the right adjustments for the race tomorrow. Because the tire was in trouble when he spun. It was flat spotted. So that's why they just went out there and made one more lap just to make an entrance to pit road.
Under a minute to go in Group A practice. Joey Logano pulls in. Byron briefing using the headsets because of noise.
We've seen a lot of mistakes out of those guys over the last few weeks, Clint. They gotta clean it up. We gotta get the thing back on the right track here.
Well, they're pushing hard, and when you push hard, you make mistakes. Had a great start to the season, had great speed in that race car. They know they have all the ingredients. And let's not forget, they have 3 wins. They can't afford to take the chances. Absolutely. I agree. He doesn't.
I think momentum is a huge thing. I think you got to be consistent and do those things week after week after week. We don't want all those mistakes to pile up week after week.
I can tell you this, it's uncharacteristic of those guys. If you go back and look at last season and where they've come from, that is certainly uncharacteristic. Byron, Reddick, Wallace, and Hocevar, the fastest in Group A practice.
Group A practice has concluded. The NASCAR did give these teams an extra few minutes of practice with the caution coming out for William Byron spinning, so that's where you see the 23 minutes under the yellow. There was 3 minutes of quick cleanup there for the Byron spin, but no damage again on that 24 car. He will be able to put up a qualifying lap as well. Flat spotted the tires that he had on the race car. They could change them before qualifying, though. As far as Byron, he is at the top of the speed chart still, even before that spin. An average speed on his fastest lap of 181.318 miles per hour. It was on his second lap run, and that lap time ended up timing in at a 29.782. Almost 0.2 of a second ahead of Tyler Reddick in second. Bubba Wallace third fastest in that group. Carson Hocevar fourth. Ross Chastain in fifth. So that was your Fast Five from Group A. Group B practice is about to begin now as well. They will get 20 minutes, and their lap times will mesh in with the Group A lap times. Then we'll get into qualifying, which will be single car, of course. And we'll see how that's going to end up transpiring. Josh Berry, Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson up in this next group. And I'll read off the full list of drivers once we get it up on screen. For Mike Joy, that we have 4 non-chartered entries this weekend, so a full 40-car field. It is the first 40-car field this season since the Daytona 500, when we kick-started things off back in February. 42 entries for that weekend, but 2 had to go home during the dual races that Thursday night to try to race their way into the Daytona 500, but obviously a max field is 40, so there you have it, 40 cars here this weekend. Arguably the second biggest race of the season for NASCAR, so fitting that the 2 biggest races of the year are the ones with the full fields. Coca-Cola 600, of course. It's been one of the crown jewels in the NASCAR Cup Series for a long time. Longest race of the season, and on the biggest day in American motorsports, with the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 just hours apart. So the list of drivers in Group B will be Josh Berry, Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, Kyle Larson, Kaz Grala, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Ryan Preece, Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, Corey LaJoie, Austin Dillon, Ty Gibbs, Jimmy Johnson, Todd Gilliland, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Those are the drivers that will line up in this second Group B. BJ McLeod also in this group. And McLeod in the 66 car this weekend for MBM. He is not in the 78 for Live Fast, so that's interesting.
I'm proud of you. Heck yeah. B practice. There's Mark Truex Jr. Six this night. Well, Kyle's back in his cup car. It's got to feel weird, Kevin.
You know, you heard Chase Elliott talk about it earlier. Just the differences in the cars and trying to wrap his mind around what he needed to do. But these guys are pros, but it is a drastic difference in how the cars feel from the Xfinity part of the Cup cars.
Love the colors they put on it. Matches that Indy car he's going to be in over at the Indianapolis 500. Same good looking race car. Here, just it's unbelievable. They still call it Carb Day in Indianapolis, even though carburetors haven't been part of the 500 for a few decades now. It's great, guys, too. They just had some adversity. Learned from that. They ran out of fuel. But did you see the lug nut on the pit stall? Oh, I'm sorry. Like that kind of stuff is stuff that you're not going to be acclimated to as far as a race car driver when you go over and get in space shuttles, Kevin. You to learn some of that adversity, and I'm glad that they saw some of that in practice. And the cool thing about Carb Day at Indy is Rick Hendrick flew Kyle Larson's NASCAR crew up to Indianapolis. Entire came up to be a part of Carb Day.
Yeah, that's a great experience. I did that when Robbie Gordon, Richard Childress, and myself went out and watched Robbie Gordon run Carb Day, and man, it's a whole different experience than what we're doing here.
Did you see that dirt on Cliff Daniels' shirt? That's something you don't see every day.
Those guys worked their butt off last week, so I would say he's going to be offended if you say that you don't think it gets dirty.
Tease it. Yeah, a white shirt and a Hendrick chant. Great crew chief. I think the world of Cliff Daniels. I always call him. He's so, pristine and perfect on his calls in that radio. He sounds like the air traffic controller.
Well, he's very much in control. That's what I like. He's precise and in charge.
We got to trust somebody. They need to be in control. That guy certainly is. Ty Gibbs, he's been on this racetrack already. Had an Xfinity race under his belt. And he's fastest in this B session. There's drivers listed in the flight on our fly line. Josh?
Here with William Byron, racetrack's really slick, so our car has a lot of speed, and it's not really hit anything there, just keep it off of the wall and everything like that. But we focus on trying to make our car turn better coming here, and I think we accomplished that. So just trying to get the back more in the track and fit on good qualifying every year. Definitely have a lot of speed and no damage to cars.
Saw that lap time graph that he's looking at there up on the board right here. But it was up on the board. That's exactly what we all look at as an industry. You want to see the fall off. I don't care about the fastest car right now in practice. I want to know where he was at on lap 15, 20, 25.
Well, we see a significant amount of speed difference in the first group and in this group. So it'll be interesting to see what this equals out to in qualifying as to what the lap time levels off to be a good time in qualifying trim. So always interesting, the speed difference between the two groups.
We didn't see the takeoff speed in Hamlin as we were right along with him, but we did see Gibbs obviously having that Xfinity race under his belt. Larson comes over here, jumps in that car, second quick of this group. Jimmy Johnson back. And top 10s in half of his 20 starts. If you saw Denny Hamlin, 11 out of 18 10 finishes. The guys that know how to win the big money, they're in contention. There's the proof of 50% top 10s.
Well, he's certainly had his fair share of good runs at this racetrack, that's for sure.
A step in the right direction for Jimmy with this race car. You know, didn't look very good at Kansas, but Dover was certainly better. Step in the right direction for him.
Yeah, it's still going to be tough. Not doing it every week. It's now you have to fire back up, and it's a tough cycle to go through when you're not in that car every week. But there was a long time here where he was the dominant guy, and you expected him to be in contention every time he raced here for the win.
Well, Hendrick Motorsports is just down the street. This place used to be named Blows Motor Speedway, and Jimmy and Chad, they felt it was their house. And as you saw there, 4 victories. It was. All right, big clouds in the sky. And let's talk about the weather. But one of the weather apps says possibility of thunderstorms in about 52 minutes. Not really. Chris Buescher third in Group B with a lap of 30:17. 13 and a half to go in Group B practice. Then we will turn over to qualifying.
Definitely going to get this full practice session in. Only about 13 minutes to go there, but qualifying may be tight, and we could run into a similar issue to what we saw last week with qualifying with the NASCAR Truck Series. Or sorry, not the NASCAR Truck Series, but the NASCAR Open drivers, where we started qualifying, did not finish it, so they had to go based off of driver points rather than the actual... it would be driver points, not owner points, but they would have to go by driver points rather than what you would see on screen here. So if we do start qualifying again, I believe driver points would be the full qualifying order if we don't get it all in. It's going to be close. I mean, 52 minutes from now, that would get us to about 6 to qualify. Group B will be interesting. I don't know if we'll get all the way through there. Each driver gets 1 lap, with this being a 1.5-mile racetrack. NASCAR Fan 33, Regine Huddleston, Michael Turner. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Mark Graham, also welcome to the stream. Don't usually enter the chat. Say great job. Watch your commentary every week. Well, I appreciate that, Mark. Thanks for tuning in every week. Earl Arnold Jr. as well, welcome to the stream. Frank Powers. Many of you, of course, I just watched in the chat during the Xfinity Series race that took place a little bit ago. Truck race was last night at Charlotte. Last 2 live commentary streams yet to go this weekend, the biggest ones of the weekend, the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. Again, our start times tomorrow, our Indy 500 coverage will begin at 12:30 Eastern Time, and our Coke 600 coverage will begin at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, weather pending, of course. Caution is out right now on the racetrack, and it is during, obviously, the practice session for Group B, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what the cause of this caution is. And again, Group B practice, caution is out. And it looks to be Chris Buescher.
Has had an unfortunate encounter with the retaining wall. Certainly see the left rear down. Don't know if that was the cause of it or not. You see it up here in the top of the screen pretty early in the corner, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that the left rear went flat, blew out.
Certainly the right sides are both up. I cannot see. The way it is, it looks flat right there. I think the left rear main went down on it.
Yeah, I would agree.
And here's the radio. When you speculate, you certainly sit up here and hope that that was the deal, and I think we got that one right. Unfortunately, this car has been on fire. I've been saying for a couple of weeks, they cannot keep this car out of victory lane. I was thinking he may have been one of our favorites, but as fast as this team has been, they might be able to get a backup car out and prove that they've got it.
It's not terrible.
We're halfway through Group B practice. Caution on the racetrack for Chris Buescher.
So Chris Buescher, the cause of the caution, left rear tire goes down on the entry into turn 1, and he ends up in the fence driver's side door first. Quite a bit of damage on the left side of that race car, and We'll have to see if Buescher will go into a backup car or not. Byron's spin in Group A's practice session didn't result in a caution, or resulted in a caution, but didn't result in any damage, so Byron will still qualify. Can't say that that will be the same for Buescher. Whether he goes to a backup car or not, doubt they're going to be able to make the repairs needed over the next probably half hour or so before he would have to qualify. So it looks like Chris Buescher's day is done, and he'll be starting at the tail end of the field for the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow night. Your speed charts as of right now, William Byron is fastest overall. In fact, the top 5 on our speed charts were all in Group A. Fastest in Group B was Kyle Larson. Chris Buescher was the second fastest, and now obviously in this wreck. And you got Truex, who's the third fastest in this group. Daniel Suarez is the fourth fastest in this group. Christopher Bell, fifth. Top 5 overall from Group A, William Byron again still has the best time of a 29.782 and an average speed on that lap of 181.318 miles per hour. Tyler Reddick is second overall, Bubba Wallace third, Carson Hocevar fourth, and Ty Gibbs fifth. Behind Bell back in 11th, you got Corey LaJoie, who's 12th fastest overall. Kyle Busch in 13th, Brad Keselowski 14th, Denny Hamlin 15th. Eric Jones 16th, Ryan Blaney 17th, 18th for Justin Haley, Noah Gragson 19th, Alex Bowman 20th. Josh Berry 21st, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 22nd, Harrison Burton 23rd. 24th for Austin Cindric, Kaz Gralla 25th, John Hunter Nemechek 26th. Todd Gilliland 27th, 28th for Joey Logano. Austin Dillon 29th, and Chase Briscoe 30th. 31st for Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell 32nd. 33rd for Daniel Hemrick, Chase Elliott 34th, Jimmy Johnson 35th. 36th, Zane Smith, Ty Dillon 37th, BJ McLeod 38th. Shane Van Gisbergen 39th. So that's our full field in practice. Back under green flag conditions at Charlotte for Coke 600 final practice. You're listening live on KRC. And you can watch visually for practice and qualifying on Fox Sports 1 here tonight. Still waiting for them to come back from the commercial break. In the midst of that, we'll just do the diecast showing right now. Again, the diecast showings this weekend for these live commentary streams are all former Coke 600 and or Indy 500 winners. We got another Coke 600 winner for you during the Xfinity race earlier. We had last year's Coke 600 winner, Ryan Blaney, a 2020 Advanced Auto Parts diecast there. And then last night during the Truck Series race, had looking around to try to refresh my memory. Austin Dillon. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. I think I keep forgetting I have an Austin Dillon diecast at some points. But an Austin Dillon 2017 Coke 600 winner. Not that diecast, but the diecast was actually from his rookie season, his Cheerio scheme that he ran in the Daytona 500 from 2014. As far as this scheme goes, we got Jeff Gordon, who was another former Coke 600 winner. In fact, Jeff Gordon's first career win was in the 1993 Coca-Cola 600. He also won the, 1994 Coke 600 was his second one. Give me a second here. I'm about to Google this. I looked this up just to clarify before the race started, and I should have wrote it down. Yeah, I had it right the second time. 1994 Coca-Cola 600 winner for Jeff Gordon. That was his first career NASCAR Cup Series win. He also won 2 more Coke 600s in the first 5 years of him getting his first career win. 1997 and 1998, he also won the Coke 600. So 3 times in a 5-year stretch. Again, 94, 97, 98. This paint scheme specifically is from 2009. It is his Nicorette number 24 Car of Tomorrow Impala SS. I think a lot of people, or at least I remember this paint scheme specifically, unfortunately, for his crash at Las Vegas that season, where he had a back injury which pretty much lingered through the rest of his racing career. Ultimately caused him to retire maybe a little bit sooner than what he or fans would have hoped for. But again, 2009 Jeff Gordon Nicorette diecast. Green flames on the race car for this scheme. Usually green schemes don't look great. They usually look ugly. Sometimes they look okay. This one, I think, looks pretty okay. It's the only Jeff Gordon diecast I have of a 124 scale, too. So definitely working on getting more of those down the line.
6 miles, some ridiculous number. I'm saying 392.
What was up there? Kyle was driving the wheels off that Xfinity car today, Kevin. We were in the shouldn't even. Yeah, he definitely did a good job in the Xfinity race, getting the most out of that car, and I think right now he's still driving. It's still a long day's work. It's a long weekend for these guys that have done double duty. So you got to take care of yourself tonight. Get hydrated. Another one who's done double duty today. Race again tomorrow is Chase Elliott. Great stats. His type of race, just that long race where you got to have a good, consistent car, good strategy, and a good strategy. They have a good plan. These guys don't make a lot of mistakes. They do a great job on their pit road speeds and pit stops. And we got, look at this. We've got twin hoods. PR Laughter. Well, Johnny Morrison coming to the Bass Pro Shops. Man, I was over there. He clipped me pretty good this morning. Took my son over there. We were in an angling seminar with some guy. My 9-year-old son was taking me to school. Oh my gosh, I left him. Oh, there's a third one. We had a whole basket full of them. We got another one. Yes, we do. You need to buy more fishing rods. Look at how. I think this could be a PR lap. You might have bought the hood sticker. You might have paid for the hood sticker today. It was ugly, Kevin. Every cat's what me did. They clipped me bad.
You know, if you keep shopping there, he'll be like J.D. Stacy. He'll have half the field.
Even know I'm sure he doesn't even know what he was talking about, but it sounded so good. I'm like, oh, all right, I got it. We need it. We have to have it.
See some great commercials with Forey LaJoy and Chili's doing a great activation with Forey.
I think they've won the year so far with their commercial. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Kyle Larson has been the master of the 1.5 miles.
I love how he rolled into that corner, click off both right there. Sometimes that's the right way to do it. Just depends on how your car's working. Into turn 3, you can lift, touch a little bit of brake, release the brake, and just roll all the way down the hill until that left front tire gets on that paint when you're running the bottom in 3 and 4.
Momentum. He's so good at carrying the momentum. Doesn't drag the brake. Never is on the brakes. Drag it out of the race car. Watch. Floats it into the corner. Barely touches the brake.
Went to the middle that time, but still.
Wow, but he had a car in front of him.
Yeah, and that's the great part about this racetrack and why it's become one of everybody's favorite racetracks on the 1.5 miles because you have options. You can run the top lane, you can run the middle lane, you can run the bottom lane. So from a driver's standpoint, when you go into that corner, you just go where he's not.
And nobody handles and manages those options that you spoke of better than him. I think that comes from his dirt background, just him getting in any car at any time and learning how to make speed and pass cars. That all gets plugged into the equation.
Good to see Kroger on that hood.
Ricky Stenhouse looking to rebound a tumultuous All-Star weekend at North Wilkesboro, where he got taken out of the race early, hung around. He and Kyle Busch had an altercation, and Stenhouse was fined $75,000. His dad suspended from NASCAR. Mechanic Cliff Myrick, an 8-race suspension, and engine tuner Keith Matthews 4 races for what happened in the wake of the All-Star race, which led Joey Logano to appear on a podcast and say, it's all over social media. Nobody knows who won. They were all talking about the aftermath.
Yeah, and that's the way it goes. Yeah, I think you see Ricky up on the pit box right there. Nobody really disagreeing. Not sure about his choice in shorts, but.
Well, one thing's for certain. I knew this was going to happen as soon as the wreck happened. He was going to wait, and he was going to do that.
And look, I've seen a lot of people say, well, why did NASCAR fight him? Because they can live on both sides of the fence.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
It's the first time I've ever heard
you can live on both sides of the end. I'm going to tell you why. You can live on both sides of the fence because you can appease corporate America and you can promote the heck out of the action.
I cannot believe you just said that.
All
you
right,
people.
quit shoving up here, all right?
It's never been on both sides of the fence in my.
been your teammate a long time. There is one side of the fence.
Hey, I used to have a fund every year. we would have a fund, 50,000 every year for the fight.
Hey, some fights are just worth it. Bob Popris wants to auction off those shorts, by the way, to help pay Ricky's.
I would definitely sell them.
Just so he can buy some new ones.
Yes.
Josh, what do you got?
Well, yeah, you guys are talking about that fight. That fight took away from your celebration last week in Wilkesboro. But either way, you got a chance to call a race. Now you're down here practicing. How do you feel about your car?
That's a good. It's undrivable at the moment. Trying to figure out what's wrong with it. It's I don't know, the longest car I've ever driven. About a mile and a half. Just trying to understand why that is and what we can do to try to fix it right now. Quite the struggle bus right now for the Shell Pennzoil team, but they're looking for something. Hopefully we can find something and get to where it's drivable. And see if we can put down a decent lap for qualifying and keep thinking about it overnight.
Well, good job with the drivability earlier, Joey. You did a great job.
Thanks. Hopefully it's not the highlight of the day.
and that's just Charlotte, right? Like sometimes you come here and practice in the middle of the day like that, and your car's off a little bit. It feels like it's off a mile because of the exaggerated conditions with the sun out today. Race already happened on the racetrack, and when these cars don't have grip, these cars are a handful, and it really shows up at Charlotte in conditions like this.
Here's teammate Austin Cedric. This has not been Joey's race. He has only one top 10 finish in the last 7 Coca-Cola 600s. He's one of those drivers. Ross Chastain, 0 top 10 in the last 7 races. Christopher Bell, 1 out of the last 6. And add Joey to that list, along with his teammates. Penske, 1 top 10 among them in the last 5 races.
Team Penske is, I know Joey won the All-Star race last week, but in general, they have not had the speed that we've seen out of the RFK cars over the last few weeks. So you heard it in Joey's voice right there. They're panicked. That is a very panicked driver, and what we're going to do, and especially when you see him in the middle, Joey's in the middle of a lot of it, but he is in the middle of what we are going to do to this car. And right now, you just got to focus on qualifying to try to make something out of it today to get a good starting spot.
Well, that's why I'm nervous. If I'm him, I've got to go out there and go faster. Yeah, this thing has been fucking me all over the place, extremely loose, looser than he's ever been. And how do you want me to go out there?
Did you say
bucking, boy?
Bucking.
When
Okay.
that thing's loose like that, it's going to buck you off in a heartbeat at this racetrack.
I just wanted to make sure.
The dogs are ruthless here. They've always have been. The cards are up on top of the racetrack.
The one thing about those Fords, and even when they're not driving good like that at all, I've been in that position where the car's not driving good. For whatever reason, they can make them qualify these.
Yeah, great point too. 40 cars entered. That's full field. J.J. Yaley, the only one of the 40 that did not make a lap in practice. As we come to the end of practice.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of these guys coming to pit road. They got to get a good marker this is definitely a pit road that you're going to have to use it under green at some point. So you need a good marker on the outside wall. Do everything you can to not lose any time on entry. So as we get to the end of these practices, that's what a lot of these guys will be doing. Here comes one of the fast pro cars.
It's going to be difficult. I'm going to guess that's Truex.
Nope. You lose.
1 in 3 chance, right?
Yeah, but there's no guessing. Monty Childers used to tell me that all the time. We don't guess at anything. Everything is calculated.
And there are the fastest cars in each group, plus the best on average, Ryan Blaney, best 15 lap average.
All right, so Ty Gibbs, fastest of the Group B drivers. Fastest Group A driver, William Byron. Top 4 positions, all from Group A on the speed charts. Your fast 10 through practice overall. Again, William Byron the fastest. In second, Tyler Reddick. Bubba Wallace third. Carson Hocevar fourth. And Ty Gibbs, who was fastest in Group B, was fifth. Kyle Larson sixth. Chris Buescher in 7th, Martin Truex Jr. 8th, Ross Chastain 9th, Daniel Suarez 10th, and Ryan Blaney had the fastest 15-lap average of anybody. Now practice has just concluded, so 40 cars set to take 1 lap. We'll start off with the Group A drivers. Once those 20 hit qualifying, For the first time today, the fastest of them, Fast 5 specifically, will re-qualify for a shot at the pole. So again, the top 5 from Group A and Group B will have a chance to re-qualify for the pole. And we'll have a small break session between the conclusion of round 1 of qualifying once all the Group B drivers are done, and then the entire second session. Ty Dillon, J.J. Yaley, Shane Van Gisbergen, Daniel Hemrick, Harrison Burton, John Hunter Nemechek, Carson Hocevar, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, and Eric Jones, in that order, will be the first 10 to qualify here today. So an Xfinity race is concluded. And of course, here we are now with practice concluded for the Cup Series, qualifying yet remaining, and rain is still on the way. So hopefully we get all of these qualifying laps in. $29 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We haven't hit our like button goal for the streams yet this weekend. 100 for the NASCAR Xfinity race, 100 for the truck race. The plan is to still go for our usual 50 for practice and qualifying streams. So let's hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. We got more than that many people watching. Let's try to get to 50 likes before the end of the stream. Again, 50 likes is our goal for this stream. We're at 29 right now. And we're halfway home. Again, practice is done. Qualifying still to go. And again, Ty Dillon will be the first to qualify.
Back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where every team is busy turning their cars over from practice to qualifying. Here's Regan.
Oh, Mike Ross Chastain, starting off that practice, didn't sound like you were too happy with the car initially as practice got going. By the end of it, though, it seemed like this one car really started to turn the corner. How good is it for Sunday?
Well, it needs to handle a little better, Regan, to go as fast as good as it looks. For Aaron Torian, and yeah, I see Amigo behind me there, getting his chug points in. Yeah, it's we need some balance improvement for sure. Like roughness wise and the bumps. I mean, this track continues to age, and with whatever sealer or whatever they sprayed on it, I have no idea. As it's aged another year, it's definitely rougher. But Phil Surgeon and my track house crew did a really good job to make it where I don't feel a lot of the bumps. I feel like our shocks are doing a really good job, which is a really good thing. And then we just get to work on the balance now. So we tightened it up as we went there. We all like loose until it's too loose. So I felt like I could spin out about every lap if I wanted to.
Big special part of this weekend, the Coke 600. It's the ability for us to honor and remember so many of the soldiers. The one that's on your car, what does that mean to you to have that name on the hood, or on the roof, excuse me?
Yeah, well, probably what's the coolest part is, yes, Aaron Torian's name on the windshield, but his son got to draw his own piece to put on the car, and his wife Shirley, we met with her the other day and showed it to her, and her favorite color is blue, so that was cool. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but to see their pup on there, and she just asked him to draw something that reminds you of Dad, and to hear that story and to get to meet her, it's heartbreaking, but they've continued to move on and live life and thrive, and they're winning in life, just like we're going to try to win this weekend.
All right, thanks, Ross. Such a special part of this Memorial Day weekend, Mike, is having those names on the windshields of these cars.
It is so bittersweet, Regan. But we certainly want to honor and remember those who gave their lives for the freedoms that we enjoy and often take for granted. And the drivers will be memorializing them during our Coca-Cola.
And you see that pre-race show, you walk to your car proud of our sport for the way that they honor our military and everything that they do to support our troops for everything that they've given for us.
You feel fortunate. You do. That display that they put on hand for all of us to see, they mean business. And right now,
1 minute to our beginning of qualifying, and we have been watching the weather radar and where the lightning and those thunderstorms is. Let's go to our crack meteorologist, Larry McReynolds, for an update.
Yeah, Mike, I've been monitoring this sail, and it keeps growing and then it dissipates, but it looks like, I'm in the studio probably, about 10 or 12 miles to the south of you guys at the racetrack, and it looks like it may even go to the south of where the studio is, but the only thing I'm seeing is it kind of grows, it kind of dissipates a little bit.
But what I'm seeing from here out the windshield here, Kevin, is the track is definitely cooled down, right? We're under cloud cover. That sun is behind these clouds. And regardless of whether these cars are on the track or not, when they do get on the track, it's going to be faster, more grip.
Well, let's check with Josh.
Down here with Brad Kozlowski did a bang-up job in studio earlier today, but how about the car? How did you feel during practice?
We're going to try not to do a bang-up job at qualifying. We're trying to do a good job, not a bang-up, but, it's a really interesting qualifying session. The track, we all came here thinking the track would be like what it was last year, and it's 180 different, Josh. So everybody here on the 6 team is working to adjust for that. We got to get the car balanced closer. It's really, really loose. And, for qualifying, that's really hard because you got to commit to qualify. Well, you got to stick it down in the corner and put the throttle down once you get through the center. And we're a little too free for that right now. So hopefully we made the right adjustments with the build subs forward, and we can go run us the heater.
Thanks. Good luck, Brad.
40 cars, all of which will make the race. Ty Dillon makes his 3rd Cup start of the season and his first in the number 50 as best Charlotte finish here. It's 13th.
Get that momentum built up. From the time you leave pit road, run that outside line through 3 and 4, and gain that momentum.
Well, these guys are the trendsetters, right? Going out first at qualifying is not what you want to have, but it is what it is. And everybody watching, they're going to understand the pace, where to run on the racetrack, how do you come to the green, how much throttle can you use. Every car that goes out, they learn, and every car that goes out also picks some of that rubber up, clean the racetrack up.
First of many patriotic schemes that we will see today. This is the Amerivet Securities Chevrolet 30.62. Couple tenths faster than he was in practice, running a 30.82 in practice. We'll see how this progresses. Jay Ailey did not practice and will not make a qualifying run. I don't believe this is Shane Van Gisbergen. 2-time Bathurst 1000 winner in Australia to make his first start in the 600.
Well, this has probably been I know it's been a huge learning curve of a day for Shane and everything that he's done. He ran the Xfinity race, learned all day, first time in Charlotte. Now, first time on an oval in a Cup car, I can't even imagine what's going through his mind.
I agree. Just trying to learn as fast as you possibly can. 30-40 fun. And here's Daniel Hemrick. Started 14th at Dover. He's had 10 finishes in his last 4 races. His second 600.
So far, that middle of the 3 quarters of the way up, Kevin, seems to be the ticket. That's where they're finding the grip.
Yeah, through the middle of 1 and 2, you got to keep that momentum up and speed up, and then through 3 and 4, I think it's going to be half and half, middle, bottom of the racetrack.
Top of the board for Hemrick. Regan?
Like another one of the drivers fresh off of our drivers only broadcast a little while ago on the Xfinity Series, Josh Berry. Josh had traded in the microphone for the steering wheel, the air conditioner hold. Which one are you more comfortable with?
Okay, this didn't get it great. This didn't feel great, right? Like 3 and 4 is so tough. It's so rough now down there. And, some laps I felt a little loose, some laps I felt a little tight. So, that's what I was just telling Rodney, that I kind of just leaning on Rodney's experience a little bit here to kind of help guide me through this. But I just felt okay. I felt like our speed was decent. We didn't get a clean lap. Just like need to get feeling a little bit better so we can have a good qualifying lap.
We appreciate you joining us earlier today for the drivers only bike. He did a fantastic job down here on pit road.
That he did. Harrison Burton making his 3rd 600 start, second fastest now, 40-17. Nemechek won a trick race here in 2021, and this will be his second 600.
John Hunter ran a lot of laps in practice. I think he was comfortable with his race car. Keep an eye on him this weekend. Especially after you're hearing all these vets, right? All these guys with all the experience complaining about their same grip levels way off.
Yeah, you see him run the bottom of the racetrack right there. Just loses all that momentum that middle lane carries off the corner.
Second fastest, Carson Hocevar. Finished 10th at Texas, his best Cup finish in his rookie season. It's 600. did a good job as pit reporter earlier today.
Yeah, that's not easy. All those guys did a good job. It's fun to follow along and watch those guys do that. A lot of momentum off the 2, Kevin.
Yeah, and he's chosen a bottom of the racetrack as well.
Yeah.
Back in the throttle, though. That was the difference between the last car.
A little bit on the corner at the wall, but he's still going to be able to top it barely.
By 200ths of a second, Hocevar is fastest.
Yeah, and if you get that bottom lane right, come into the checkered flag, you don't have to go use that momentum for the whole straightaway, and that's what you saw there.
Started to come off of it a little bit, right past the apex instead of the corner. He was able to at least keep the throttle down a little bit, though.
Daniel Suarez, the Atlanta winner, is on track. He's been in 7 600s. Now the time on the lower right is the bump car. The bubble is held by Shane Van Gisbergen at 30:47. Top 5 advanced to the final round.
Man, did you see that gear bouncing around over those bumps?
Bottom down.
These camera angles do not show how bumpy it is going in the corner. And inside that race car, it is so bumpy.
Suarez to the top as you ride with Ryan Blaney. Won the 600 last year from 8th and went on to win the championship.
You see Ryan with the wheel just right there, just constantly chasing that car with the thing and just being so neutral. But you'll see how rough it is right here. I know you won't. But
Car rolled through it pretty well. Hey, that's a difference. It's a setup thing. And the closer they are to those ride limiters that you talk about every week, the harsher it's going to be.
Blaney is second. That bumps Burton and moves Nemechek onto the hot seat as John Hunter's teammate Eric Jones is on track. Jones has a best start in this race of 4th in 2018.
Hold on to it. That is not where you want to have this thing jump sideways. You don't have anything to counter, right? Anything other than wheel. You're already out of the gas. You're along for the ride. Did a good job keeping that car underneath of him. Living to see another lap. That was close.
Jones recovers for 30:29. Halfway through Group A qualifying, Daniel Suarez, fastest so far.
So again, 9 drivers have taken the track for qualifying. J.J. Yaley, who didn't participate in practice, also not going to participate in qualifying for New York Racing in the 44 car, one of the non-chartered entries this weekend. Again, a 440 car field for this race. Daniel Suarez currently top of the speed charts. Ryan Blaney is second. Carson Hocevar third. Daniel Hemrick fourth. John Hunter Nemechek fifth. Harrison Burton sixth. Eric Jones seventh. Shane Van Gisbergen eighth. Ty Dillon ninth. And again, J.J. Yaley, who didn't make a qualifying lap, is 10th. So that is your Fast 10 so far. 10 more drivers still to go for Group A. And again, the top 5 from this group will get a chance to requalify for the pole. The next 10 in this order will be Justin Haley, then Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Michael McDowell, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, and then Brad Keselowski, our most recent Cup winner back at Darlington 2 weeks ago. Of course, that is not counting Joey Logano winning the All-Star race last week, which was an exhibition 9-points race. Appreciate everybody tuning in here this evening. We're still 14 likes away from our like goal of 50, so be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more NASCAR content, live commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend for NASCAR Cup Series practice qualifying, as well as the NASCAR Cup race and NASCAR Truck and Xfinity races. Already got those streams under the weekend. The only thing still to go is the 600 tomorrow. The rest of this stream obviously here right now. And the Indianapolis 500 will be a special edition stream on the channel tomorrow. It'll be the second year in a row I'll be doing the Indy 500 right here. So gonna run it back once again. And we get to see Larson try to do the double. Our coverage for tomorrow's Indy 500 will begin at 12:30 a.m. or sorry, not a.m. 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again tomorrow, and then our Coke 600 coverage will begin at 5:30 Eastern time with our pre-race show. Unless, of course, the Indy 500 were to go long, then, time would be kind of constrained there. Just have to keep an eye out on the channel, and I'll try to keep you updated in the community tab as well as to what may happen, as there is A good chance of a washout for that Indy 500 tomorrow as well. If they do run on Monday, I will still be able to do commentary for you. Cars Fan 14, Regine Huddleston, Earl Arnold Jr., many others. Welcome back into the stream. CJ the Great, also thanks for tuning in. Reg to the rear and has to do a pass-through penalty. Yep, that is true. He still has to run a qualifying lap, though. NASCAR doesn't want him to have an extra set of unused tires, so he is going to still qualify here.
Things with throttle depending on how the car's driving. Now look at the top 3 or 4 right now. More particular Suarez and Hocevar, who's first and third. They use no brake. Nobody's using brake in 1 and 2, but they use no brake in 3 and 4. Even Blaney used a fair amount in 3 and 4 on his lap.
Every week on these intermediate racetracks, he who's going to sit on the pole is going to stay off that left pedal.
And this is right one down. Yeah, and this is a racetrack where you can get away with that in turn 3 if your car's handling good. And sometimes you need that brake from a comfort standpoint. We talked about Ryan Blaney probably being too loose, you know, and just the way that his hands looked. But sometimes you need it. If it's tight, if you get in there too far, you just that's your insurance. Man, look at this, Clint, coming to the green in the top groove. I was wondering when somebody was going to do that. Of course, leave it to Reddit.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Haley has bumped in. He is fourth. Daniel Hemrick now on the bubble for who's finished top 10 in all 4 of his Coke 600s.
And look at the ghost car there, though, Kevin. It didn't seem like he actually beat him on the momentum swing of that, but he certainly did stay in higher through 1 and 2. Look at this momentum.
Yeah, you hear him roll out of the throttle.
Now down to the bottom
on the entry. Well, you can use that whole straightaway coming to the green and off of turn 2 to carry that momentum for that high lane. But that's a good lap.
Big lap there.
Well, he is fastest, and as Larry told us earlier, it's for naught. NASCAR made him make 5 laps, so those tires would be scuffed. But he's going to have to make that pass-through penalty due to inspection woes. Here's Joey Logano, 2 poles this season. A winner here in the fall race in 2015.
Oh, Hardy's holding on to that steering wheel. Nervous. Pretty loose looking, Kevin.
Oh, and then they got tight. Pacing it up the racetrack, one or the other.
8th for Logano, 30-10.
Yeah, and you could tell that he knew it. We thought he might pick up some speed, but he knew he didn't have a good car.
That's hard to do. You know, getting into that thing, last time you hit it, it was trying to spin you around.
Michael McDowell has 2 poles already this season. And 1 top 10 start in the season.
This is the Ford that you were talking about earlier. If there's anybody that can find speed over race trim and qualifying trim, it's this 34 car. Always bad fast at qualifying trim. Haley's car's getting smaller in the rear view, isn't it?
Well, Tyler Reddick really opened everybody's eyes as to what that top groove is, and as this cloud stays around here and the racetrack gets cleaned up a little bit, now that open the groove up top, they're just going to keep laying down faster laps.
Now here's a guy that I want to see get back on the momentum swing. We know he's capable. We know this team is capable. They always have the speed, but boy, it's been a rough month and a half for this 20 car.
Christopher Bell won the pole at Kansas, and he's looking for his 3rd straight final round appearance in the 600.
Pretty sporty so far. Can he get through 3 and 4? Missed the bottom a little bit. Didn't get it down exactly where he wanted to, but still was able to keep the throttle down and keep the momentum.
2nd for Bell, identical time to Tyler Reddick.
And that could have been a lot better, Clint. He got kind of hung on that seam right there and never could make it all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack.
All right, Blaney on the bubble will start locking drivers in with Ross Stain. 1 outside pole this year. With 10th in this race in 2021.
A lot of momentum coming to the green. Stayed higher. We learned that with Reddick. A lot of speed through the center of the corner. He might pay the price a little bit on exit, though.
Yeah, I think that the mistake that Ross made is he had that left front tire on the seam. You cannot have that left front tire on the seam because it unloads the car as it gets in the corner. You got to have that nice square entry to go and stay above that seam until you get to the end of the first third of the corner.
Now he will dump Blaney out of the top 5, though, in 4th position. Here's Bubba Wallace. Started 7th in the last 2 600s. Finished 4th last year. 2311 opened up their brand new shop, Airspeed, right alongside I-77 in Charlotte. It opened to the public this week. Wow, what a show place.
It says it on the side of that car. That building is.
Oh!
That was loose.
Yeah, the front end took off on him up the racetrack and he had to lift, and then when he had to lift, it got loose.
Well, he bumps Suarez. That will lock Christopher Bell into the final round. And then here's Chase Briscoe. 8 top 10 starts this season, tied with Larson and Elliott for the most.
See the momentum down the back straightaway off of that top line. Lower entry getting in. It's going to shoot up the race. I got tight.
Oh.
That car has to be pointed in the right direction, and you have to wait long enough on that car. It has to be low enough and pointed in the right direction, but you got to wait long enough to let the front turn, or it will get tight every time at that 3/4 mark.
Okay, Frisco that'll lock Michael McDowell into the final round. Here's William Byron, who at age 21 in 2019 was the youngest ever pole sitter for the 600.
This is a hard lap. He's already spun it out down here in 3 and 4 in practice. Now you got to go out there and put it all back on the line and try to go out there and run the slap of the day so far. That's hard to do. It happened off the floor, but that ghost car sure was.
So Byron's run locks Ross Chastain into the final round, and the final spot will be between Byron and Brad Keselowski, who has 2 600 wins and won the pole here in 2011.
That's what I love about Bubba, right? He's going to be able to correct that, have another chance at that. Put it to good use. No, he's not. I'm sorry. He's out.
He's out.
Byron just picked him at the line.
Really.
Brad's just not able to carry the same speed into the middle of the corner like those other cars were.
And Byron will advance as Keselowski times in 15th. Riddick is fastest in qualifying.
All right, so Tyler Reddick fastest in Group A qualifying. Christopher Bell also makes the Fast Five along with Michael McDowell, Ross Chastain, and William Byron. Both Reddick and Bell ran the same identical lap time to the 1,000th of a second. 29.714s for both of them. That's an average speed of 181.733 miles per hour. The first 10 drivers to qualify for Group B will be B.J. McLeod, followed by Jimmy Johnson, Zane Smith, Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kaz Gralla, Kyle Busch, Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric, in that order. Chris Buescher is more than likely not going to be able to qualify after he had wrecked in practice. Still no word on whether he is going to a backup car or not. I'm sure that team will continue to make repairs all night if they have to try to keep him in the primary. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're going to take a quick ad break. You're listening live to the Coca-Cola 600 pole qualifying on KRC. Clayton Holster, thanks for tuning in. What happened to J.J. Yaley? He just didn't make a lap at all today. He didn't make a lap in qualifying nor practice. But he is going to attempt to run the race tomorrow still. Nobody has to go home today. 40 entries and a max field of 40. So yeah, last place start tomorrow for J.J. Yaley. Tyler Reddick obviously having to drop to the rear of the field for the start of the race tomorrow as well. But definitely looks to have a fast car. So it'll be fun to watch him come from the tail end of the field. Might be as fun as it was to watch Corey Heim come from the back to the front last night. Man, what a charge he put on just to come up just short as Nick Sanchez got his second Truck Series win of the season. Of course, Heim ended up failing post-race inspection with 3 loose lug nuts. Well, 2 loose ones and 1 that wasn't even on there. And if you have more than 2 loose, and you will get disqualified. It was on the left rear tire, so unfortunately credited with the last place finish, and he loses both of the stage wins he had earlier in the day. So that's 2 loss of playoff points, 20 regular season points. Christian Eckes continues with the points lead now for the Truck Series. It's Michael McDowell, by the way.
It's worked on it. To make it to turn 1, kind of, and luckily it stuck. So really proud of the effort. It hard here. It's really slick, really fast. And so I'm just glad we got it done. We'll get one more shot. The round 2.
Group B begins. BJ McLeod. Now, last year he was a charter team. They sold their charter the year, and now he's running races as an open car. This will be BJ's 3rd start of the season and his 7th 600.
Well, I got some bad news for Michael McDowell. That might have been a hard lap, but the next one's going to be harder.
Right. Jimmy Johnson, 8 wins and 3 poles. At Charlotte, that's 3 600 poles for Coca-Cola 600 wins for the 7-time series champ.
Track has cooled down a lot, guys. Started at 128, first of practice down to 110. A lot of grip difference, Kevin, between last time they were on the racetrack versus now. This cloud cover's making a big difference.
Would be 04 for Johnson. Josh?
Down here with Christopher Bell, tied for the fastest in Group A. What do you have left for the next round, and how do you feel about your car overall?
Trying to get the balance a little bit closer. We've been trying it a little bit all day through practice, and then got to the other side of it in qualifying. So, I mean, Charlotte's an amazing racetrack, and it's a lot of fun out there. You can kind of run wherever you want. So the car's good. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Appreciate your time.
Oh, that makes me nervous, Mike. Because the next round will be tough, to get the front end to turn and have the same grip that you had in this round. So
Zane Smith finishing his lap up. He'll be fastest of the first 3 in Group B. 29.928 for Smith. Jimmy Johnson's lap time timed in at 30.048 and at 30.484 for BJ McLeod. Austin Dillon is now on the racetrack, making his lap. He's the 2017 Coca-Cola 600 winner. 3 career top 10s in his 10 career starts in the 600. Not been a great season at all for Austin Dillon, looking to turn things around here this weekend. At a track he got that first career win, which was, again, that 2017 600. One of 3 nearly identical Bass Pro Shop paint schemes on the racetrack here, and I believe all 3 of them are in Group B. Saw them all running nose to tail at one point in practice. 29.960 for Austin Dillon, second fastest of 4, the first 4 in Group B. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. next on the racetrack. He was in the news this weekend after throwing a punch at Kyle Busch post-race following last weekend's All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. $75,000 fine for Stenhouse. The most for a fighting incident in NASCAR history. Several suspensions also to that team, with crew members involved in the aftermath of the incident, as well as an indefinite suspension, of his father from the racetrack following the post-fight breakout, again, between Stenhouse and Busch after a lap 2 incident in last weekend's exhibition race. Stenhouse top of the charts for right now, just dropped to 29.902. Kaz Gralla in the Rick Ware Racing Ford is now next on track. A lot of those drivers in the back half of the run in qualifying. Pretty much those last 10 drivers are right around there in Group A. Went to that middle to upper groove on both sides of the racetrack. But a lot of drivers going down to the bottom lane still through turns 3 and 4, at least to begin Group B's practice session. So we'll see if that changes as we get into the second half of this group, just like we saw in Group A. Lap time for Gralla, times in 5th of 6, 30.176 for him. And now on the racetrack is Kyle Busch. No penalties or fines for anybody on the A team in regards to last weekend's altercation between Busch and Stenhouse after the race. Busch ran the Xfinity Series race earlier today, finished in 6th, led some laps, 34 to be exact. He'll go to the top of the charts over Stenhouse with a 29.756, about a tenth and a half quicker than the 47. And Ryan Preece will now be up. It'll be the third Ford to make a lap in Group B, 2 more still to follow soon after him. He's scheduled to run. Again, I don't think Buescher is going to make a lap, but we'll see. I don't believe his car is on the grid. Preece is not going to break into the Fast 5. Jimmy Johnson holds on for 5th for at least another go at it. A 30.127 for Preece, 6th of 8. Next is Austin Cindric for Penske Racing. He was a part of the Fox broadcast earlier today for the Xfinity race. The drivers only broadcast. He and Brad Keselowski were the two that were in the Charlotte studio. Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano in the booth, with Logano being the play-by-play caller, and the pit road reporters were Josh Berry and Carson Hocevar for that event. Cindric jumps into the Fast 5. Not as quick as Kyle Busch at the top, but second overall for Cindric, a 29.831. So Chris Buescher would have been next to qualify, but he will not with the damage received to his car following his crash in practice. Again, in turn 1, he had spun around after a left rear tire had gone flat, damaged the left side of his race car after pancaking the wall. Driver's side door. He'll be starting deep in the field tomorrow. Still no indication on whether he will be in a backup car or not. You'll have to tune into the pre-race tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern for more details on his race implications, at least for the start of it. The next 10 in this order to qualify and try to go for those Fast 5 spots and a chance at the pole for tonight's Coca-Cola 600 qualifying run. Corey LaJoie will be the next to hit the racetrack. Then you have Kyle Larson, the man of the weekend, right behind him. Todd Gilliland will be after him, followed by Noah Gragson, Martin Truex Jr., Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Ty Gibbs will be the last driver to qualify here in Group B. And your Fast 5 right now, Kyle Busch holding up with a 29.756. Austin Cindric with a 29.831 is second. Then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. third. Zane Smith fourth. Austin Dillon fifth. We'll take another ad break. You're listening live to Coca-Cola 600 qualifying on Craig Piper. Thanks for tuning into the stream also. Oh, Kyle and Ricky ride the truck together pre-race. That'd be hilarious. Well, they're not going to be able to because they're not going to be in the same row. Because remember, this is to determine the the inside row. Group B determines the inside row. And Group A determines the outside row. I guess if they both qualify top 10, they have a chance to qualify in the same row. But if one of them were to miss out on the Fast 5 here, which I don't think Stenhouse's time is going to hold. I don't even think Busch's time is going to hold, but more of a chance that happens than Stenhouse's. 29.9 is just not going to be quick enough. Still quite a bit of cloud coverage with the rain on the horizon here. The Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. 10 miles outside of the city. Again, Corey LaJoie will be the next car to hit the racetrack. Who's riding in the pace car? I have no clue. I don't really pay attention to that going into the weekend. I couldn't tell you who's in the pace car.
Still looking for his in the top. There's a ton of opportunity.
Based on that commercials, they've now got that chili special sauce in the gas tank.
This track's going to continue to pick up speed.
And so typical of this particular racetrack. You always wanted a good lap for Corey. You always wanted a late draw when you came here for single car qualifying.
Well, now the qualifying orders sit by the metric. There is no more draw. So LaJoy is in, Smith is on the hot seat, and Kyle Larson. 3 poles this year and 2 wins. He won this race in 2021 from the pole.
We'll just keep an eye on these lap times. I mean, it took an 81 to make that final round of the last group. I think this group's going to be faster.
$29,711. It's Larson on top and bumps Zane Smith out of the fast 5.
Just barely
fast lap as we've seen so far, either group. What's that, Larry?
Yeah, I just was watching his throttle trace, and when he got back in the throttle, both ends, he was able to stay in it, especially off 3 and 4, where everybody seems to have to play with the throttle late exit.
Always seems to be the case with that kid, you know?
Yeah, well, and you also heard from his in-car, he was very patient in letting the car do what it needed to do through that rolling section.
Disciplined.
Yep.
Todd Gilliland making his 3rd 600 start. Looking for his first top 25 qualifying effort. That's going to be tough. 30-37 for Gilliland. Okay. No club on the nose.
See how much
Noah
more red it
Francis.
has?
Yep.
It's that old Winchester.
We'll get a figure of races. This will be his 3rd 600.
He's had a good year so far.
He's had a great year.
Yes, sir.
I think that we would all say that that's our biggest surprise from the performance this season. Here, Noah was able to dump the gas pedal out. He got out of the gas pedal pretty hard. Sometimes that happens in a rotate.
Yeah. He's in for now. 4th. 29.87 bumps Ricky Stenhouse.
So I think exactly, let's go back to exactly what you said. He was disciplined getting into the corner, kind of lofted it up in there, and was able to pick up the throttle sooner and stayed with it. Beat him to the line.
Martin Truex won here in 2016 from the pole.
I like Johnny's plan. Strength in numbers. Let's just sponsor half. We can win this baby.
I like the way he used that throttle right there. It was a very slow rollout. I'm not so sure he got all the way out of the throttle.
And the nose of that car is orange. Different from the others.
Right back to the throttle. Smooth lap for him. A lot of grip in this race car.
All the way to the top. 29.52.
Wow.
All of them came through.
What a lap.
Those guys need to go back and listen to that throttle trace because that was a slow rollout and right back to the throttle.
That is a shot fired. Dangerous car.
And when you get that, when you're able to do that through 1 and 2, you just don't want to screw up 3 and 4. You just get through there conservatively.
Noah Gregson on the bubble. His teammate Josh Berry and Stuart Haas on the track. An Xfinity Series winner here at Charlotte, making his first 600 start.
Same thing as Noah. You heard him dump that throttle really hard, so that tells me they're pretty confident.
Whoa! Oh, you were saying?
They were pretty confident getting in the corner with the way that their cars fell.
3rd for Berry, pumping Gregson.
Great lap for Josh.
And moving Cedric.
I think that's going to be bubble. That right there on that bubble. That 74. Keep an eye on that 74. Remember, it took an 81 last time, and I think this track's getting a lot faster, Kevin.
That locks Truex into the fast 5. Alex Bowman started top 10 in the 600 in 3 years.
It's another good lap.
Second for Bowman. That will bump Cedric and move Kyle Busch onto the bubble, and that will lock Bowman into the fast 5. Chase Elliott making his 300th start in the Cup Series. He has started here 3rd as a best. beat him at the throttle, but just a little bit. He's gonna have to work down here, 3 and 4, find something. Didn't arc the corner near as much as Kyle Busch. Yeah. And the penalty so far, but he's staying with the throttle here. He comes back. And getting
Good exit.
fourth for Elliott, bumping Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
that will lock Kyle Larson into the fast spot.
That's an old Jimmy Johnson way to drive that 3 and 4. You back that entry way up, get the car pointed in the right direction, feed a little bit partial throttle, and get off the exit of turn 4 good.
So here's Denny Hamlin, and you can't miss it green. 2 600 poles, and he won here from the pole in 2022.
So you're saying you like the green or don't like the green?
I'm saying it's really bright.
Okay.
I like the speed in this back straightaway. Keep an eye on him down to the bottom. Slow, gradual entrance to the corner. He's got it pointed in the right direction. Lost a little bit off the floor. It's going to be full. Yes, for now. Fifth, Hamlin. That will lock Chase Elliott into the fast 5 and bumps Josh Berry. So the final spot is between Hamlin and his teammate Ty Gibbs, who started 19th in his only 600. That was last year. Well, they should be this close, right? They come right out of the same shop. They're teammates. They all debrief together. They all share data together. But, oh, look at Gibbs. Pull ahead here. A lot of momentum through the middle of the corner in 3 and 4. It's going to get the job done, too. Gibbs is third. All down in 3 and 4. Great job. And that bumps Denny Hamlin out of the final round.
For those top 10 positions are Martin Truex Jr. with that 29.524, 5/1000ths of a second quicker than Bowman's 29.529, who was in second. Ty Gibbs timed in third. He was that last driver to qualify for Group B, and the 2 Hendrick Chevys of Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott will also advance. So 10 drivers going for a pole, and one of those drivers in the Fast 10, I guess, would be Tyler Reddick, who was fastest in Group A. But he will have to drop to the rear for the start of the race. He could still technically go for the pole award. And that is what he's going to be striving for. Fastest time overall in qualifying, though, was Martin Truex Jr.'s 29.524, and that 29.529 for Bowman was second quickest. The fastest time was a 29.714 by both Reddick and Bell in Group A. That would have been quick enough to get them into 5th and 6th in this group. So lap times definitely quickened up quite a bit there. That 29.524 is also faster than any lap on it. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm working on trying to get the frame rate back up to normal. I see it lagging. Yeah, thanks for letting me know in the chat about the lag. Tried to reset it for you guys right there. Should be good to go now. It shouldn't have any more issues. Once again. Okay, so Hopefully, I mean, I don't know if the problem is resolved permanently or not. Something's going up with my Wi-Fi that's causing this lagging issue. I had to just completely reboot the Wi-Fi there for a second, so if we had a long pause, that would be why. But I think we're all good, at least for the moment, so apologize for that issue there. And again, hopefully don't run into another one. But yeah, that OBS like just wasn't even connecting. I tried turning everything off and on with that. And then I just had to reconnect the Wi-Fi, so I think the Wi-Fi is what's holding up. It was lagging a couple times during the Xfinity Series race on my end as well, and I use streaming, uh, watch through Hulu. So with that lagging quite a bit, I think it's the Wi-Fi that's the issue right now. But again, hopefully we don't have any more lagging issues the rest of this stream, and we're going to be good to go. We don't have much left of qualifying. We're still awaiting the final round to begin. There was an interview with Alex Bowman moments ago. Will be the 9th of these final 10 drivers to re-qualify for those top 10 positions. Again, William Byron will be the first driver to qualify. Had a spin in practice, bounced back to at least get a top 10 starting spot, and now have a shot to go for the pole. Byron just about ready to hit the racetrack.
It is out right and full, beating down on the racetrack. But things get a little more different. Front stretch turn and 2, complete shade. Well, that's complete sun.
That's the cell that went by us. You saw off the turn 1. We dodged it. We're gonna get this baby in. 3.
We all
The
thought
sun's starting to warm back up. You thought I was crazy.
we all thought Truex was being sarcastic and making we were starting to make fun of Clint, which I guess is normal.
Well, I was right. Right there.
I don't think you're right.
All right, so they're going to send track dryers to the front straightaway, where apparently
Why do you put track drivers on the track, Kevin?
That must be some dust or something.
because you can.
Hey, it's going to be interesting, though, guys. No kidding aside, like, you've got total shade down here in 1 with a big cloud over it, and that sun is bearing down on turn 3.
This is typical of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Remember the All-Star race in 2001? They dropped the green flag on a dry start-finish line. And, well, Kevin, you were in the race. What happened when you got to turn 1?
Well, it wasn't raining anywhere but turn 1, and we all crashed. Most of us crashed.
And because it was just the All-Star race, they let everybody pull out their backup cars and started up and ran it again. Regan.
Oh, Mike, it's sunny, it's raining, it's doing a little bit of everything down here at this point right now on the front straightaway. Ty Gibbs, what we definitely know is that you were quick in round 1 of qualifying. Do you got enough to go up there and get the pole in round 2?
Yeah, I think we definitely have a shot in our Monster Energy Interstate Batteries Camry. I feel like it's really good. So thank you to Toyota and everybody that gives us the opportunity. We're going to go out there, give it a shot, and hopefully I can get my first pole.
Busy day today for you. Had the Xfinity race earlier. Having any fun out there in the Xfinity race? Looked like it was a little bit of a blast.
Yeah, it's definitely fun going down and running with those guys. Definitely wish we could have finished better and not gotten wrecked, but I had a great time. Thank you, he gets us for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, good luck in the second round here. Thanks, Ty.
Well, they finished. And I think he does have a good shot at the pole.
Well, I like the fact that he's had so many laps on the racetrack today, and you said it during the break, the way he was able to just fling that car in there and be comfortable with it. And then we saw Martin Truex Jr. do the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what this lap time is, because usually the second run on tires here, you just kind of want to go out and maintain what you did in the first round to be able to try to run the same lap time. But with this rain, Clint,
I want to go out there and beat the competition and get the number 1 stall. Start on the front row. That's
Why?
what I want to do.
tell us why.
Because we're going to be doing a lot of pitting on a 600-mile race. And that number 1 stall is
16 feet. It's 16 feet from the end of that pit stall to the timing line. And this is the biggest advantage on the circuit as far as
this is
that first stall.
It is not rain they're picking up,
Thank you,
Mike, from the front straightaway.
That's right.
what does 16 feet equate? Positions on pit road almost every single time.
Well, we saw it at Darlington, and it's going to be even more effective here. Yeah, they're trying to find those raindrops.
Yeah.
They're just letting us go by, make sure that we don't have that other scenario like you guys did. Drive off into turn 1 and have trouble.
Those raindrops look a little chunky.
weekend, guys. It's infield. I've been out there. I went for a jog this morning, walked the dog. Holy cow, are they having some fun. Packed, sold out.
Is this the hardest part? They say waiting is the hardest part.
Well, it just adds another element, another layer to what the variables could be as far as what the lap time needs to be and what your commitment level is, how much throttle you need to carry, what the positioning on the racetrack needs to be. Now you've got the sun out in turn 3 again. You've had I guess they say there might have been a couple raindrops down there, but it's hard to know what you need to do from a throttle speed standpoint when you get in these scenarios.
So it's not so much that they say it, it's Tom Petty sang it.
Yeah.
That's waiting is the hardest part.
Waiting is the hardest part, Mike.
Well, there's that weather system moving away. Larry Mack says the weather rock outside the Charlotte studio is dry. So, what next? Regan.
Oh, Mike Cliff Daniels, busy weekend last weekend. You had multiple drivers this weekend. This weekend you got one driver. You got your driver Kyle Larson back from Indy. How did practice go? And how do you predict what your car's going to do with this weather changing so much?
Well, I mean, the cool temps is certainly going to get faster. And, just a big shout out to everybody at HinderCars.com Chevrolet and really everybody at Hinder Motorsports that have helped us get to this point. We've had a lot of scenarios, a lot of juggling back and forth, and everyone's just done such a great job. Big thank you to Mr. Hendrick as well. And, for today, I think our car's close. We made a few adjustments on it from round 1 to round 2 here. To your point, it's a little bit of a guess now with the cloud, but I know Kyle's going to drive it, so we'll see.
That's one thing we always know. Kyle's going to get after it. Thanks, Cliff.
Kyle has had a busy month of May. Do you want frequent flyer miles? Kyle Larson's got them. May 14th, where he went and ran practice. 14th and 15th, those are the on-track miles for Kyle Larson. Almost 300 of them through the 17th. Okay, 315. Plus qualifying. Then, North Lynchboro, the All-Star race. Back to Indy for practice. Final practice. 820 race miles. 1,158 frequent flyer miles. Does Rick give out frequent flyer miles when you fly on his plane? I don't know. All right, final round qualifying. Somebody's going to win the Busch Light Pole. Track is dry.
Well, I think they all know they need to run that high line through turns 1 and 2. That seems to be consistently where the most speed has been.
William Byron was 29.81 in round 1. If the track's getting cooler, let's see if he can pick up.
Getting into 3, didn't use a lot of track on month 4. It shows me that track's got
29.415 for William Byron. Wow, fastest lap we've seen in qualifying today. A pickup from round 1 to round 2. That's going to be interesting. With the fall off we've seen this weekend, that is very surprising, and that lap time may be tough to beat. Cloud coverage on the racetrack right now. Temperatures continuing to drop both on track and air with the storm that was passing through. Potential light sprinkles in the area, but again, we continue to qualify on. Ross Chastain is the next of these final 10 drivers to qualify, and he will not be able to take William Byron's time down. Chastain times in with a 29.624, as well a pickup for him from round 1 to round 2, but obviously nowhere near as big of a pickup as what the 24 Byron had. It was behind Chastain through round 1, but not in round 2, obviously. Michael McDowell is now the 3rd driver to qualify. Another top 10 starting spot for McDowell this season. He's the only Ford that will start in the top 10 this weekend. A lot of great qualifying efforts, although the race trim has not been as good this year for McDowell as what it has been the last couple of seasons. A down year, so to say, and what could be a lame duck season as he'll be moving from Front Row Motorsports to a new home next season in the NASCAR Cup Series. And Zane Smith will be welcomed into that 34 team next year for Front Row Motorsports instead. McDowell, 3rd of these final 10 drivers, the first 3 of which obviously to qualify as well, a 29.689 for McDowell. So everybody has picked up from their lap 1 time from round 1 to their second lap time here in round 2. Christopher Bell is now on the racetrack, who had a 29.714 in round 1. Looking to best Byron's lap time. Oh, sorry for that. The raw feedback up for you guys. Christopher Bell just finishing his lap up. And Bell will not quite jump to the top. He had a little bit of a mistake in turns 3 and 4. That William Byron was so good on his lap in that corner that he's able to stay at the top of the charts. So the 29.415 for Byron holds. Bell's lap time is a 29.434. Got to within a couple hundredths there, and that was about it. And Reddick will move up to 4th as he concludes his lap of 29.648 for Reddick. And so Tyler Reddick, 4th of 5. And again, he will have to start at the rear of the field tomorrow after failing pre-qualifying. Ejected from the racetrack, and he'll also have to take a pass-through penalty at the very start of the race tomorrow also. Right now, it's Chase Elliott on deck, Kyle Larson. In the hole, it'll be Ty Gibbs. Elliott near the wall on his lap time through 1 and 2, trying to get everything he can as he's being extra aggressive with his line, trying to carry the momentum down the backstretch into 3 and 4. And he'll go to the bottom lane of the racetrack through 3 and 4. Picking up a little bit, but not going to be enough to take down his teammate. So Chase Elliott, 3rd on the speed chart. 29.556 for Elliott, and here's Kyle Larson. What a start to the weekend it would be if Kyle Larson's able to qualify on the pole for the 600 today before he runs 1,100 miles, or at least attempts to do so tomorrow in the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. He's the 6th driver to run both races in the same day, but he would be only the 2nd to complete every mile. Tony Stewart is the only other driver, really in racing history, to be able to do both and complete every lap of both races. Big moment for Larson. Saw his hands on the in-car camera moving around quite a bit off the exit of turn 4. He was tracking close to the pole until he got very loose, had to lift as well. A 29.719 for Larson. He drops from his first lap in the last session. 7th of 7 for Larson. 3 drivers to go, and right now on the track it's Ty Gibbs. Alex Bowman, Martin Truex Jr. will be to follow. Good lap time for Ty Gibbs through turns 1 and 2. Tracking very, very close to that pole time. In the green into turn 3 as he dives to the bottom of the racetrack. A great turns 3 and 4 going for the rookie Gibbs. He's never qualified on the pole in his Cup career. Seen a lot of the firsts in Cup Series careers at Charlotte, usually winning the Coke 600, but here in this case, Ty Gibbs looking for his first career pole. He has the quick time with a 29.355. 2 drivers to go. He's got Alex Bowman and then a teammate, Martin Truex Jr. A great lap by Ty Gibbs. Bowman and Truex were the only runs to run 29.5s in round 1 of qualifying. And of course, that time from Gibbs fastest that we've seen today at either round of qualifying and practice as well. Bowman will not get the pole. It looks like he will get to the top 5 at least for now. A 29.569 for Bowman, 5th of 9. And Martin Truex Jr. will be it. He'll begin his lap at the start-finish line. Truex is a 2-time Coca-Cola 600 winner, 2016 and 2019. And now trying to sit on the pole for this race here this weekend as he tries to dethrone his teammate. Through 1 and 2, the ghost car of Ty Gibbs is tracking ahead of where Truex is on track now in the backstretch into turn 3. Truex to the bottom of the racetrack. Truex had a much better turns 1 and 2 on his first lap of qualifying from round 1. Round 2, he isn't even going to get on the front row. Ty Gibbs will be on the pole for tomorrow's Coke 600, a first career pole award for Gibbs. Truex winds up in 4th place with a 29.529. 3 Joe Gibbs Toyotas qualify in the top 2 rows. And a Joe Gibbs Racing Hendrick Motorsport lockout of the top 3 rows. Here's Regan Smith with Ty Gibbs.
They'll have the first. That's all.
Yeah, it's definitely really important. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my Monster Energy Interstate Batteries crew. We got a really fun Camry, and hopefully we can go out there and win it tomorrow and get ourselves in the playoffs, but go win a great race.
Hey, congratulations on the first pole.
William Byron, the youngest, and they will lead the field in here on Stock Car Racing's longest night. First career pole in his 65th Cup race.
Not to mention, Ty Gibbs sweeps the poles this weekend. He qualified on the pole for the Xfinity race earlier today, and now he's on the pole for the Cup race tomorrow also. Congratulations to Ty Gibbs. Excuse me. Once again, that is his first career pole award in the NASCAR Cup Series. Now trying to go for his first career win in the same race tomorrow. So Ty Gibbs on the pole. William Byron outside of the front row in second. The lap time from Gibbs again was a 29.355, about 600ths of a second quicker than Byron's fast lap, which timed him in second. Row 2 will be the Joe Gibbs Toyotas of Christopher Bell and Martin Truex Jr. Row 3 will be the HMS Chevys of Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman. It'll be Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick in row 4, with Reddick having to drop to the rear for the start of the race after failing pre-qualifying inspection twice. Michael McDowell and Kyle Larson will be in row 5, a top 10 starting spot for the guy who will be competing in both the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow. Appreciate everybody tuning into this stream. Thank you for hitting the like button. We did get to our goal for likes of 50. We are at 53 currently, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so. And sorry for that small powwow. Again, my Wi-Fi was going through issues where it was disconnecting and reconnecting, so I had to completely disconnect the Ethernet cable and then come back up here after reconnecting it and get the stream back going. So if we were blacked out there for about 3-4 minutes, I apologize for that. But appreciate that everybody stayed tuned after the fact, and we got to see Ty Gibbs get his first career pole. Again, our start times for tomorrow's stream as we stand. The Coca-Cola 600 live stream will go on at 5:30 Eastern Time. There's no rain in the forecast of Charlotte tomorrow, so we know we're going to get the 600 in. The Indy 500 a little questionable, but we will still begin that stream at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon, of course, as long as things get underway per normal. As far as the Indy 500 goes, if it does not get in at all tomorrow, if they don't even get a lap in, then we won't even stream it until they start the race on Monday. But we will have full commentary for that when it does happen. Stay on the lookout to keep you updated in the community tab if our stream start times are delayed. But as of right now, again, plan on 12:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon for the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 again at 5:30. We do know the Coke 600 will go on its timely schedule. That I can guarantee. But the 500 we'll have to wait and see. Appreciate it, though, everybody. See you tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night, and have a good rest of your Saturday evening, everyone.